Hey guys, Fraccas here. Welcome to the first episode of the Let's Build a 30 Pokemon MMO. So far you can see that I have just a simple menu here where you can click around the screen, create server. It doesn't actually do anything. Right now it's just basic UI. So join server, it pans over to Onyx. Settings, it's gonna switch around. You can see that. Unmute the audio, just to show you this real quick. Audio, toggle audio, and it works. So I'm gonna go ahead and mute that back. Okay, so about this project. The goal is to build a online 3D Pokemon MMO. You can run around, battle other trainers, battle wild Pokemon, trade, gym battles, Pokemon League, all that. All the fun stuff. Choose your gender, choose your starter. I actually made a Pokemon 3D MMO back in 2015. It was pretty popular. It's Pokemon Adventures Online. You can see that my last update was 9/4/2015, so it's been about 5 years. But this game was very popular. We were consistently in the top 100. We had flying mounts, we had gym battles. I just want to show you a video. Where is it? Here you can see actually this character is riding their Charizard. Let's see, flying through the sky. As you can see, we had Viridian, Pewter City. A lot of this was unfinished, the map and everything, but essentially this was a 3-month project. When I was in college, a friend and I worked on it. He did the 3D models, animations. I had a friend who did some sound stuff, and I did all the programming. So we had like Magikarp you could battle. Very cool game, but the issue was that with just 2 people who were in college, who were busy, we just couldn't finish the game, unfortunately. And I've noticed that a lot of other teams have tried to build Pokemon games, and they look pretty great too. This game in particular, last update 2018. So there's a lot of people who have tried to make a Pokemon 3D MMO who just haven't really got off the ground. They have kind of like little demos, but as far as 3D goes, I think it's just too much work for no pay. With these Pokemon games, you can't really make any money, right? Because they're not our actual ideas and products. So I think this year you have a team of maybe 3 to 5 people who work on this part-time, and you really just can't get it off the ground. So with this project, my goal is I'll build out the foundation of this project, maybe some combat, set up the server so you can join a server, create a server, choose your gender, choose your Pokemon. I'll do that, but the rest, I hope that you guys will finish it. If you want to do, make the map, someone makes the map, someone does coding, or hopefully we have a lot of people who do coding. That'll be the main focus of this tutorial series. People who do animations, 3D modeling, and the project will be completely open source. It'll all be online for anyone to download. Anyone, no matter their skill level, can get on and make updates. Anyone who wants to learn can just hop in. So that's the plan. Get a lot of people who are just really passionate about this. I know a lot of people who grew up in the 90s would be super excited about an online 3D Pokemon game. A lot of people have tried, a lot of people have failed. So let's go ahead and get into some of the setup for the project. What you're going to need is the Unity Hub, so just Google Unity Hub, download Unity Hub, click that. I already have it downloaded, so I'm not going to do that. Install it. Once it's installed, you want to go to installs, I already have 2 versions here, but we want to go to add. Go ahead and go to, currently the latest official release is Unity 2019.3.15F1. If that's not the case, try to navigate and find this version. It's always best to stay consistent on which branch you're on. You can have compatibility issues otherwise. So, go ahead and download that. Already have it downloaded. Once you have it downloaded, you want to go to create a new project. So what I did was I went to let's go to my documents, bring this over. I just made a folder called Unity Games, made a new folder called Pokemon Adventures Online, since this is going to be a remake of my original game, but hopefully way better code, more people involved. So once you have that set up, let's go ahead and grab the file from Google Drive. I have a link in the description. You'll want to download this and drag it into this folder that you created. So I'll go ahead and do that now. Oh, I've already done it. So there it is. So in this case, go ahead and go back to your projects. You're going to go to New Project, Create New, make sure you're on the right one, 2019. Navigate to the folder that you want to use, which I think we should be here. Select folder. We're going to name this Pokemon Adventures Online. I'll keep the name. underscore YouTube for me. You can name this whatever you want to. Hopefully just Pokemon Adventures Online. Hopefully keep the name V2 for me since I already have one. Just select the standard 3D and create. Okay, so this is gonna take a moment to go ahead and generate everything through this file that I showed before. This is a Unity package file. So essentially what it does is when I'm in Unity, when I'm creating a game, I'm making scenes, I'm modifying prefabs, which are just objects you can duplicate within the game. So let's say you have a Magikarp prefab, you want 100 Magikarp on the map. You duplicate that Magikarp 100 times and you can spawn it around the map. All that information is saved into this exported Unity package file that I've created. So when I export it out, upload it to the drive, and then you download this, you have the exact project that I have. You open it up and everything's exactly as I have it. I think this is about done. It takes a little while. So let's go back to the game here. This is the version I already have open. As I showed before, you have just buttons. You can kind of click around. It's nothing, essentially nothing practically works except for the audio, muting the audio. But for now it's just visuals, UI. You can see our animations. So for this video series, you're going to need to know, bare minimum, you're going to need to know the fundamentals of programming. So variables, functions, conditional, logics, if statements, while loops, for loops. You're going to need to know those fundamentals and also some object-oriented programming. If you don't know that, like critical information, just the fundamentals of any language will work. But if you don't know any programming, I recommend going to this video, C# tutorial. It's an hour and a half, everything you need to know about C#. If you watch this video and you can understand the concepts, you're good to start working on the project with me. In this video series, I'll cover project management within Unity, how game objects work, how to organize everything, how scripts work, how you can have a game object with a script, how buttons work. But you really need to know before you start this how to do the very fundamentals of programming or coding. That's what you need to know essentially to get started. Everything else we'll cover in the video series. So it's like this project has completed. So it should look like this when you first create your project. Let's go back to our folder here where we saved the information. And you're going to want to drag this into here. Drag it one more time into assets. And now you can use it within the Unity editor. So you see it's here. Go ahead and double click it. It'll decompress. It's gonna import all of those files that I talked about before. Your scenes, your Pokemon, your scripts, your music, everything is in this. So let's go ahead and wait on this. We have all the information here. See, we have hair, we have shaders, we have scripts, we have everything we need to compile this project. So let's go ahead and do import. Okay, so all the assets have imported for the most part. You're going to see this. The reason you'll see this is because some of this code is back from 2015 and it's outdated. And Unity is going to attempt to update a lot of the references within the code. So because this is a new project, you don't need to make a backup. Go ahead and say no thanks. This is a brand new project. Doesn't matter if it fails. So go ahead and let this import. So we should have everything imported now. You may have some error messages in the console. Go ahead and go to your console. Read through. A lot of this is saying that just some import messages. This doesn't matter as long as you click clear and then there's no messages here. If there's anything that prevents the game from compiling, it'll say it here. So if you clear it out and there's nothing here, you're good to go. Alright, so let's go ahead and look at what we got imported. We have like a terrain folder which holds the map information, audio, which is like some of the in-game audio we have, more map stuff, prefab, scenes, scripts, and there's our Unity package. So let's go into scenes. Scenes are like the instances that you view it in the game. So if you have like a main menu, that's like the main menu scene or instance. If you have like a map that you drop someone into, that's a scene within itself, a main game map. So let's go to main menu, and you're going to see that it's going to show you everything that I've done so far. So we can just go ahead and run it and see that all the animations are working. We have particle effects, there on the tail, some stuff there. So good, everything looks good. You can back out and see the whole world here through the scene. And as we do this tutorial series, we can kind of cover how to kind of navigate throughout Unity. We'll kind of learn that as we go. So everything looks good. This is pretty much, if you get to this point, you have the project set up and you're good to start coding any updates or altering the map or going through some of the files here and finding some of the new Pokemon. I think go imported, 3D models, We got Bulbasaur, Ivysaur, Charmander, Charizard, Wartortle. We got Eevee, Pikachu. If you want to on your own, go ahead and start messing around, throw some Pokemon in, maybe try to write some scripts if you know any coding. So in this video, before we end it, I want to just talk about bare minimum coding. We'll talk about game objects. So let's talk about this. This is a game object with a script attached to it that I've written. You have your public variables here that you can kind of drag and drop. So if you have like UI here, you can drag it over here and then manipulate it within the code. So this is a quick little script I wrote to kind of make those behaviors happen within the menu. So you can like, you know, press create server, it pans over to Charizard, or join server, pans over to Onyx. Back to knowing the bare minimums about programming. You have your variable names here. You have the object type, which in this case is game object. In Unity, you can set it to public and it'll show up within the Unity editor. So remember, all menu, create menu, game menu. You can see those variables exist here, and then you can drag over those elements to the navigation here on the right. So in the start, this is a function within Unity that's core to Unity that starts or it's executed as soon as the game's launched. So in this case, we have a menu selected variable that we set to all menus. So by default, we want the game to look at all. The standard default menu, which in the game is this. This is your all menu and your objects behind it. We're going to grab an instance of the audio source so we can modify the menu music like we saw earlier. You can toggle the music and turn it off or on. So the first thing this does is, this is another fundamental core function to Unity. It's late update. What update does is it's a function that's called every single frame of the game. Late update is called the moment after each frame is executed. So in this case, the frame happens, then this code is executed. So it'll say, here's a conditional statement. You need to understand this. If you don't, you need to go watch the video I pointed out earlier. If menu selected is not equal to null, so that means if menu selected is just equal to something, then we're going to do something with that camera. And this code below just kind of does some math to get that camera to look at in the different directions. So towards Charizard, towards Onyx, towards the Pokemon gym. We also have some button click functions. So if you set it to public, you can actually set the behaviors on the buttons within Unity. So in this case, let's look at public void create menu selected, game menu selected. If you set the public, it's going to let you access it within Unity. Void is your return type. So if you need to understand return types, void just remains that the function doesn't return any type of data. It just executes something. Then your function name. So it's going to say the menu selected is the create menu. Then we're going to say, okay, let's disable all UI menus. That's just a function that I wrote that down here. We're going to go through and set all the UI to false. And so that just sets pretty much the UI to not visible. It's there, but it's not visible within the game. People can't see it. And then we're going to say this particular UI, create UI, we're going to set it to active. So let's look at the create game menu. Let's go back to our game and see how this is kind of set up within Unity. So we have our UI, we have our create game menu, and we have, let's look at the all menu first. So UI main options, we'll go to our canvas, which holds our buttons, and we have our buttons here. So we're going to say create server button. We're going to look down at the bottom right. You have a button behavior here at the bottom. There's the on click listener. And what you can do is you can drag a script here. If there's a script that exists on a game object, which that script that I wrote exists here, you drag it from here, put it here. Then you can access the functions that you wrote. If they're public, you can access them here. So create game menu. When this button's clicked, create server, run this line of code. Menu selected is equal to create, disable other UI, create UI is now active. So create server, and this is going to set that menu selected to this menu. So it's going to pin over to this side. It's going to set this server as active, or sorry, this button, create server, to active at this whole UI. And that's the effect of the script. So if you can understand that logic, you can follow along in this video series. Anything else we do after this, if you just know those core principles, you're good to go. Otherwise, please go back and watch that hour-and-a-half video that I linked before. If you do that, you're going to be in good shape. You're going to be able to follow along, and you can be more helpful in adding new content to the game. If you don't really know what you're doing, if you don't really know how to code, then it's going to be difficult for you. So just, yeah, please go ahead and watch that video. Apart from that, for this video, this is all we're going to do. Just basic UI here, a little bit of basic project management within Unity, kind of how scripts work, how game objects work together. We'll definitely go into more detail in future videos. But for the next video, we're going to create a server, and we're going to create functionality to join a server or create a server. And we'll probably let you maybe choose a gender, male or female, and then we'll load you into the server. server to run around with other players. So that's going to be it for the next video. After that, we'll start spawning in Pokemon as your starter, letting you pick your Pokemon, and then we'll go from there. PvP, wild Pokemon, spawns, navigation throughout the map, all the fun stuff. So thanks for watching. If you want to get involved with this project, please comment down below so I can kind of gauge if people are interested. If people aren't interested, I may not, be as motivated to continue this series. But if you guys want to do something, say, hey, I'm interested. I want a 3D model. I want to do animation. Hey, I want to code. That'd be great to hear especially if you want to code, because that's my specialty. So definitely let me know in the comments. Let me know if you have any questions. Like the video, share it. Let's get a lot of people interested in this. Let's get a lot of people who want to work together on this project, and let's build actually the first successful 3D Pokemon MMO game. That is the goal of the video. Let's make something that we're all proud of and that people would love to play. Like the video, leave a comment, and I hope to see you in the next video.